community support has been overwhelming, but we're no closer to finding Thomas on this 8th month of his disappearance than we are on the day after his disappearance.
A family wants investigators to step aside after the search for a missing Canadian teen passes the 8-month mark. Thanks for joining us. Andy Justice has this evening off. Thomas Brown went missing on November 23rd. Search efforts have been going on, but the family has turned the investigation over to the state. Now, this is what investigators have so far. Brown's car was found in a remote area near Canadian the morning of his disappearance, and his backpack was found back in January. Brown's cell phone has not been recovered. A records show the phone has not received calls or texts since the night he went missing. KAMR Local 4's Amberly Hildebrandt speaks with Brown's family and investigators. That story topping our news tonight at 10.
Somebody's life would be changed because of this. And it's going to be. He's coming back. He's coming back in Jesus' name.
Emotions were high as the family of Thomas Brown held a press conference in Canadian. Brown has been missing since November 23rd, and his family says they are no closer to finding him than they were 8 months ago.
We believe that all options on the table are on the table still as to what happened to Thomas. However, no evidence has surfaced suggesting that Thomas led some alternative life.
The family publicly thanked law enforcement and private individuals who have been working on the case. Meek explains the family is frustrated with the lack of new information and they need answers. This is why the family has decided to turn the investigation to the Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas Rangers.
I have asked the sheriff to go ahead and turn over the case to the state now rather than wait. We know that these are uncharted waters and that everyone involved has, to the best of their ability, worked to find answers.
Hemphill County Sheriff Nathan Lewis says that they have not given up on finding Brown. He went on to say that he does not consider this to be a cold case. Brown's parents are hopeful that their son will return and appreciative of those who have reached out.
And I hope that we are finding and garnering leads, and that's my prayer, is that that's what's going on.
I don't know where he is. I don't know when he's coming back, but I believe he's coming back.
In Canadian, Amberly Hildebrandt, KAMR Local 4 News.
There is a $40,000 reward for information leading to finding Brown. If you have any information, contact the Hemphill County Sheriff's Office. It's been more than 2 years since Thomas Brown disappeared, and tonight the Brown family and the community of Canadian are getting some closure. The remains of missing Canadian teen Thomas Brown have been found.
Thanks for joining us this evening. It's continuing coverage of our breaking news tonight. The 18-year-old was last seen November 2016. As we first reported earlier this evening, investigators from multiple different law enforcement agencies confirm his remains have been found. Private investigators confirmed the remains were Brown's through dental records. His family was notified this afternoon. He was last seen getting gas in Canadian back in 2016. It was on the eve of Thanksgiving. Human remains were found this past Wednesday near Lake Marvin, which is about 19 miles east of Canadian. Investigators confirmed the remains were that of Thomas Brown this afternoon.
Andy, we're continuing our team coverage of our breaking news tonight with KAMR Local 4's Kaylee Green. Let's go to her now live in Canadian. Kaylee, what's the mood there in Thomas's hometown?
Well, Jackie, the mood is solemn here tonight in Canadian as we learn more. The private investigators say Thomas Brown's remains were found by a person who heard the call from law enforcement to keep watch near Marvin Lake and did the right thing. Private investigators from Klein Investigations and Consulting have been working alongside the Attorney General of the state of Texas, Texas Rangers, and the Hemphill County Sheriff's Office since Thomas Brown's disappearance. Investigators say they are thankful to the citizens of Hemphill County for their support, and many have even used their own resources to help law enforcement during the search for Thomas. While forensic testing today confirms the remains found near Marvin Lake to be those of Thomas Brown, law enforcement officials say there are still several unknown factors. As a new phase of the investigation into what really happened to Thomas Brown begins, investigators are asking for anyone with information to come forward. They say if you see something, say something. Live in Canadian, Kaylee Green, KAMR Local 4 News. Andy and Jackie, back to you.
Kaylee, thank you. Now, Andy, as we were getting more information earlier this evening from law enforcement, I know you were able to speak with Thomas Brown's father. What did he have to say tonight? Well,
for the last 2 years, Kelly Brown believed that they would find his son alive after getting the news today just after 3. He says that because of his faith, he has peace. He shared several things, but wanted me to pass along a message to you tonight. He said, hug your kids and tell them you love them every chance you get. This story continues over on our website, myhighplains.com. What we've got there for you, you could read the investigators' full statement and learn a little bit more about the background of this case.